that a watermark may have been used on the official ballots. So I have a gem scope. It's a 10 times magnification, and this is my ballot strip, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and put the camera onto the strip, and we'll see what we see. It's a little blurry. I'm gonna go ahead and push it up. Oh dear. I think there is. Okay, so from what I read, it's supposed to be little dots. It's supposed to be little dots from the printer. That looks like little dots to me. Are you guys seeing this? What do you guys think?
What's happening now, and the reason I couldn't come on the Alex Jones show last night was I was not given the permission that I needed to in order to say what I'm about to say now. I do not work for the federal government. I'm not paid by them. Let me just say again what I said in 2016. There are honorable members of our intelligence, military, and civilian community in the government who understood exactly how corrupt Biden and the Democratic machinery was, and will be. This is really a sting operation. Contrary to what everybody else said, Trump knew this was happening. Eric knew this was happening and warned the public. I knew this was happening. However, I could not say anything about it. What happened was we watermarked every ballot with what's called the QFS blockchain encryption code. In other words, we know pretty well where every ballot is, where it went, and who has it. So this is not a stolen election. On the contrary, we reversed the entire game of war along the lines of Sun Tzu, The Art of War. And Trump was brilliant and still is brilliant at it. The reason he hasn't been seen, and Alex correctly said, I haven't seen him in several days. Well, in The Art of the War, you pull back, allow your enemy to make all the mistakes that they are making, manipulate the situation, expose them, and then come in for the final killing. And that's what's happening now. None of this was unexpected. All of this was expected. All of this is part of the sting operation we're running. And let me tell you that 48 hours ago, not only did we put markers on those ballots, but I can say now, with the permission of people in the intelligence community and elsewhere, that we have sent out thousands and thousands of National Guards to 12 different states: Washington, Delaware, Texas, Arizona, Alabama, and everywhere. So now you have to consider and rethink what this is really about. The genius of Trump is that he is able to pull back at any point and manipulate the opponent without the opponent ever realizing. He has said repeatedly, #steal the vote. That's exactly what he has said for months. Then he made a very clear implication. He said, I will use common sense or my intelligence, i.e. both literal and figurative intelligence. And those of us in the intelligence community, be it who they are, again, what I said in 2016, when we exposed Hillary Clinton, we now exposed, and it was Trump who initiated this, Biden family. Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, Jill Biden, Jim Biden, Frank, the whole family was played right into a game where they were convicted, and you're seeing what's happening now. What was not announced was that we watermarked all the ballots with what I said, QFS blockchain, which is a very hard encryption code to break. And the second thing is we sent probably 20,000 or more National Guards 48 hours ago. None of it was reported, and I thank the press for not reporting it and others. So what in fact is happening is you're seeing a sophisticated sting operation that was initiated by Trump. I'm just a lowly peasant in this game, and honestly, I was informed that I could say something about it today, only last night. That's why I could not come on.
Well, you've
So
just...
this is the reverse of what you guys have been thinking. It's not a civil war. We have not been surprised in any way. This has been a setup by Trump for a long, long time. In the same way that we knew about Hillary Clinton, I warned about the coup that we would do a counter coup, and this is our counter coup again against the Bidens. And that's exactly what we expected. The corruption in the mail, the corruption of USPS, corruption with the Democrats, everywhere and anywhere. There was no surprise here. And that's why we deployed National Guard soldiers to 12 different states. Nothing was that.
Steve, you've just broken certainly perhaps the biggest news since the election here on this show. I have to play this out logically in my head.
That's why I go on your show to basically, I keep saying.
Well, I love you, Steve. I'd kiss you on the lips right now if it wasn't digitally.
Yeah.
But
there's too many people watching us.
We're open like that. We're tolerant. But Steve, following your logic here, I mean, are arrests inevitably coming down the road?
Yeah. They're coming not just down the road, they're being implemented. What you saw Corey Lewandowski and Pam Biondi saying when they were in Clay County and as well in Philadelphia, that was not just a threat. That was exactly what's going to happen. People will be arrested as of tonight, tomorrow, and it will go on for quite a while. And this was a total sting operation that I can say.
So explain
anybody else. I have the permission to say it. I do not deal with classified information, as you know. I do not work for our government, but because I'm loyal to the Republic, and I work with a lot of people who are loyal to this Republic, including the 16 intelligence services, the Secret Service, our civilian service, they've all been great, and they've kept it quiet. And I've been given the permission to say what I just said. I have nothing more to say, but this is not a surprise here. This is the biggest sting operation probably in our country that we've ever had.
Well, and it would be the genius of Trump. But Steve, I got to ask in the last minute 45 here to kind of hone in. So how is this watermark on the ballots? What is the significance of that as to, is it going to stop from fake ballots being counted, or how is that going to be used?
Well, we use it in any way that we need to use it in terms of counting, knowing which ones were fake, which ones were not. It's a very sophisticated code. So if you just throw them away, these are cyber communication implementations that we have the code for. We know exactly what was thrown away. We know exactly what was placed. We know exactly who has it, and we know exactly where it went. I can't go any further than that.
Wow, this is huge news that Steve Pieczenik is breaking on our show right now. For me to reiterate, I guess in my own words, President Trump and his administration and friendlies inside the White House in D.C. have launched a sting operation knowing this Democrat fraud was coming. And, you know, Steve, you said Trump's been talking about this for months. Actually, it's really been years. This is from President Trump on October 10th, 2012. He said, "It doesn't matter who you vote for. It matters who is counting the votes." End quote. Be careful of voter fraud. So he's obviously known about this forever. I mean, is this the genius of Trump playing out? I mean, long term?
Yeah. Trump is far more brilliant than people understood. I knew about Trump. I don't personally work for him, and I don't deal personally with him, but he knows that I've known him for well over 30 to 40 years when he built ice skating rinks for free. And I had my children go there, and he was very great.
Frank Pavone here, National Director of Priests for Life. Wanted to come to you here for just a few minutes to let you know that contrary to media manipulation, Joe Biden has not won the election for President of the United States. Right now, nobody has won that election. You know, the ignorance of the Democrats, the crass ignorance of the media who support them, the ignorance and malice of the Biden supporters is once again on full display as they try to fool the American public by making them think that the election has been decided. You know, we actually, and this is not a matter of opinion, we actually have a process in the United States of America defined by the Constitution and by state law as to how a president gets elected. If you're hearing media reports that Biden has won the election, you'll hear the word projected and projected to win. You know what that is? It's an opinion. It's not the winning of the election. Let's explain how this works. When the winner of the presidential election is officially declared, by the way, the media, neither in state law, federal law, nor in the Constitution, the media has absolutely no role in declaring the winner of a presidential election. You won't find it there. You won't find it in the state laws. You won't find it in the federal laws. You won't find it in the Constitution. The media has zero role in declaring the winner of a presidential election. You know when the winner is officially declared? At 1 p.m. in a joint session of the United States Congress, the House and the Senate, on Wednesday, January 6th, 2021. That is when the joint session of Congress receives the certificates of vote, which are the certificates from each state, where on December the 14th, the electors of the Electoral College each meet in separate sessions to cast their votes for president. Again, a simple knowledge of the Constitution tells you how this works. So it's only when the electors vote on December 14th, send in the certificates of vote, and then a joint session of Congress is held on January 6th, the votes are read, and a winner is declared. There is a lot to happen between now and then. The electors haven't even voted yet. It's not the people that vote for president, it's the electors. When you go to the voting booth to elect your choice for president, you're choosing your electors from your state. Now, let's back it up even more. The states each have different deadlines. Some of them it's a week after election day, others it's later in the month, still others, 14 states, their certification dates are in December. These are for the certification of ascertainment, namely the official declaration of that state as to who won the presidential vote. Now, some states, the margin is so lopsided in one or another direction that they can declare it and certify it pretty quickly. There's no doubt. But there's a lot of states where the margin is very slim. And in particular, there are several disputed states right now where the margin is very, very thin. And where voting counts are still being tallied. And this is the point. When you hear news in the media about Biden and, oh, you know, he's the winner of the presidential election, pay attention to the words that they're using. If they're saying he's the projected winner, you know what that is? That's an educated guess. It's an opinion. And the alternate opinion might be just as true. The word you have to be looking for is certified. Did the state certify the election? And if the state didn't certify the election, then friends, it's not decided. So for example, in the states of Pennsylvania and Georgia's going to have a recount altogether. Pennsylvania, they're still counting ballots. Arizona. Now, if the razor thin margin exists in various states, in other words, the race is very, very close. All right, so imagine yourself in a room, you've got two gigantic buckets of ballots, and they're being counted. And at a certain point in the count, one candidate is going to be ahead, but then you come back a few hours later when more ballots have been counted, and then the other candidate is ahead. That's a snapshot in time. And so what you have to do is you have to look at the rest of the ballots that remain to be counted. And again, there are hundreds of thousands of ballots that still remain to be counted and are being counted in states where the margin is razor thin. So the state cannot possibly certify the results yet. Now, what a person could do is they could look at where the remaining ballots are coming from and when and how they were cast. You could say, well, being that most of these remaining ballots were cast on election day voters tend to favor President Trump because President Trump supporters like to come in person, then you might project that most of those ballots will go for him. Biden campaign has a different opinion about based on where some of these remaining ballots come from. We know where they came from. We know how they were cast. We know if they were early mail-in ballots or late mail-in ballots or election day ballots or provisional ballots. We know what they are. They just still have to be counted. And campaigns can have different opinions about which direction they think, emphasis on the word think, the ballots are going to turn out. But they don't know until they're actually counted. So the states can't possibly certify this. Moreover, either at the request of the campaign or according to state law, if the margin of difference is within a certain slim margin, States will automatically trigger a recount, or a campaign can request a recount. Georgia is definitely going to have a recount. Pennsylvania may well have a recount. So the point of the fact is, friends, all you're hearing from the media right now is wishful thinking. It's their opinion. It's the opinion of the Biden campaign. You listen to the mainstream media, might as well be listening to Biden himself. Of course they want to think that they won. Should every vote be counted or not? See, this is the irony. These people come around and they're always saying, oh, well, you know, every vote needs to be counted. Every vote needs to be counted. Well, then keep your mouth shut until every vote is counted. We don't know the winner of the presidential election yet. We have a process in this country. The ballots get counted. If ballots are challenged, as many of these ballots are, because they, besides being slim margins in some of these states, there's also evidence of impropriety, and it's being investigated. And also the courts are getting involved, and there are legal challenges. Can't we as Americans, and can't the American media just hold off and let the process run its course instead of trying to manipulate the results? For goodness sake, give the process a chance to work out. This is a contested election. The states have not certified. So once again, in a nutshell, if you're listening to media reports, you listen for these words. The state of such and such has certified the winner. Even then, it's not the final word, because again, that chooses the electors, who then, by December 8th, the states have to have their certifications sent into the federal government. And then on December 14th, the electors will meet each in their own state to cast their vote for president. And then again, on January 6th at 1 p.m, the House and the Senate will get together in the U.S. Congress, and they will hear the votes of the electors. And then, and only then, will the winner of the presidential election be official. So I just wanted to give you that information, my friends. And please pass it along to your friends. Share this video. Tell them the facts of what's going on. Again, ballots are still being counted, and many ballots are being challenged. Let the process run its course.